What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sir Valor Sax. Now, in my recent videos, I've been doing a lot of videos focusing on helping you to develop your sound on saxophone. And in my opinion, the best and the easiest and also the most rewarding way of doing it is to focus on multifonics. Multifonics really just make all the notes that are inherently inside of a tone louder. In other words, when you play any note on the saxophone, you're actually playing all of those multifonics. You can't hear it because those other tones are much, much quieter than the main tone. But everything that you've been learning about overblowing notes, overtones, it's all about manipulating the overtone series or manipulating the multifonics that exist within any particular tone. So we're all very familiar with this type of exercise. I discovered a fingering that is so weird and so bizarre. It's also quite difficult to hit. I found it to be easier on my other cannonball that was exactly this one with no lacquer, but I was also using a different mouthpiece. But you're going to have to take some time to really focus in on the advantages of what learning this exercise can do for you, and also starting to break away from the traditional overtones off of low B flat, low B, low C, etc. We want to really fully explore how many other notes lie within the saxophone and what we can do to exploit them. So the fingering is 1, 2, 3, 6, low C, and the high F sharp key. I don't have a special name for this. I usually call it some kind of flute F sharp fingering, but it is really awkward. It's a very awkward fingering. And I know if you don't have a high F sharp key on this, then this doesn't really work for you. However, you can start to do this same type of exercise for any particular fingering, even the natural fingerings of the saxophone, because all those harmonics are there. But let's take a look at what notes lie within that fingering. There's actually more than what I'm going to show you, but I want to go over 4 notes that are there and how I practice picking out each one in order to help me develop control over my embouchure, my tongue position, which people mostly call voicing, and also pressure. How much air pressure am I actually applying to the saxophone in order to get it to do what it is that I want to do? All right, so I'm going to start, and I want you to start this very quietly. You should get a middle E flat. We want to target 4 notes using 1, 2, 3, 6, low C, and high F sharp key. If you do not have a high F sharp key on your saxophone, you can't do this the way I'm showing you. But I'm going to show you what you can do if you don't have a high F sharp key to do essentially the same exercise, but you're going to get different notes. All right, so let me show you this with the high F sharp key. Again, that is 1, 2, 3, 6. I call this flute F sharp. This is how you play F sharp on flute. You add the low C and the high F sharp key. We want to target a middle E flat, a middle F, high E, and altissimo G. Just using that finger. Sounds like this. Here's low, here's middle E flat. You can hear it has a really stuffy, weird quality to it. And yes, I am definitely holding down the octave key for all of this. All right, so let's move to beast mode, the middle F. This is really, really difficult to hit using this fingering. Above that, we have high E. And then we have Altissimo G that is above that. My most difficult and most rewarding practice routine is when I just use that one fingering and I just try to pick each one of those notes to hit, and then I try to play them all at the same time. That is the multiphonic that exists within that note when you hit it right. So my practice routine will generally go something like this. And yes, this is going to sound terrible because we're practicing and it's supposed to. Practice that at like mezzo piano, and that will help you to be able to dial in all these multiphonics that you want to be able to hit. Now on alto saxophone, this is by far the most popular multiphonic any and everyone plays on alto saxophone, which is a high F with a multiphonic on it. It's usually played using the front E with the side B flat. Here's the F. And you get that really nice multiphonic. Being able to control all the pitches in there is essentially you doing your low B flat overtone exercises. But you can hear the notes a lot louder when you have this multiphonic, and all these things are much louder. The overtones are much louder. There is an equivalent, something like that on tenor, and instead of an F, you wind up playing an F sharp. Now, it's 1, 4, 5 with the E flat key, and I like to scoop into it from the 2 key. So you got your 4, 5, and E flat key, 1, and then you just scoop into it with the 2 key here. And you should get an F sharp. But we can learn all of this. We can learn this control. We can learn vibrato. We're really just learning to manipulate pressure. Pressure is a big thing that I talk about in my book concerning developing your sound on saxophone. Vibrato is manipulation of pressure of the embouchure. It's a modulation of pressure of the embouchure. I don't like to call it a modulation, but that is the technical word for it, because modulation in music means changing keys and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I have my Altissimo books for alto and tenor saxophone. I have my All Things Diminished book for all instruments, and of course, I have my saxophone sound development book that is available. If you like this kind of stuff, you want to support the channel, you can buy me a piece of cake. It's like a Kickstarter, Patreon type of thing that you can make a donation, and that helps the channel a lot. I also have some links to saxophone products through Woodwind Brasswind. They're always running some specials, so be sure to check that out. If you do not have a high F sharp key on your saxophone, this exercise essentially does the same thing. It's just a lot less cool. But it's 1, 2, 3, and 6. Overblowing that F sharp fingering gives you a palm D. This F sharp is one that I use a lot. I use it when I'm playing something very melodic and I have to hold on to an F sharp for a longer period of time. I think on tenor, using this flute F sharp, you can add the E flat key, but you don't have to. I think it gives it a little bit more resonance, more so than on alto. It's a very subtle difference, but if you just play them straight, you can hear that there's a difference in pitch. The flute F sharp is a little sharper, but when I'm using vibrato and I'm using expressive devices, that helps a lot. It can just bring that extra resonance. I like it. Okay. All right. That's all I got for you. Chill.